Welcome to today's Marketplace. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ Market site in Times Square. And with me here today, Anthony Hendrickson, the Dean of the Heider College of Business at Creighton University. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jane.
And today I want to talk about business ethics. How do you prepare students to go into the business environment and be confident that they'll be able to make ethical decisions?
Well, I think one of the things that it starts with bridging the gap between real business practice and what happens in the classroom. And that starts with faculty and leads into our curriculum. So I think faculty need to have some real business experience, and they need to have credentials that industry understands, not just their academic credentials. So our faculty have over 500 years of business experience. And if you look at our finance faculty members, they're all CFA charter holders in addition to their PhDs. But then it extends into our curriculum. You want curriculum to be real world and not just textbook. So we have a portfolio practicum class in which students actually manage $5 million of the university's endowment. That's important because now they have to report to a investment committee of the board and justify, why did I buy the Home Depot?
Sure.
Oh, because I shop there? No, because of some logical business reason. So I think as you tie that to business directly, then they're able to make really sound ethical decisions instead of just textbook answers.
But you know, it's you hit a market rough patch, or I mean, you could go in even with the best of intentions, but the pressure for profit sometimes is so intense, especially for a public company. I mean, wouldn't you agree? How do you navigate that?
It is. It's really about people anchoring their core values. One of the things that we talk to students about, and a little tagline we have is integrity before profits, really emphasizing that you have to understand who you are and be focused on others. As a Jesuit institution, one of our key values is men and women for and with others, and it's really about developing empathy for others, for your customers, your subordinates, your boss, your colleagues, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Mm-hmm. And ethical business really starts from the top and works its way down. Wouldn't you agree?
It certainly does, and we expect the senior people in the C-suite to put the line in the sand and to show leadership there. But you know, ethical leadership doesn't begin when you get to the C-suite. It begins the day that you start into business, and everybody's a leader. We try to emphasize that with students.
Now, you represent a successful business college. What do you feel are the most important pillars in establishing a strong ethical business position while the students are still in school?
Well, it starts with thinking about others, then thinking critically, and then judging your impact on the broader areas of business. And so, obviously, when you develop empathy for others, thinking critically, broadly about what your decision is going to have an impact on, and then making sure, because you're connected to real business, understanding deeply how your business decision is going to impact people in the community, your subordinates, your customers, the other stakeholders broadly in your organization.
So what advice would you give a business audience on career advancement? Is a graduate degree necessary?
Well, it's not absolutely necessary, but it certainly does give you an advantage to being able to move up quickly in an organization. So one of the programs we have is our Master's in Investment Management and Financial Analysis. That's really part of the CFA curriculum. That will accelerate your career quite a bit.
So how do you see the mid-career professional coming back to school? I mean, is that a good idea, go back and get a graduate degree after you've been in the workforce for a while?
Well, everybody's different, but it could be very advantageous to you. One of the things that we're trying to do is break our degree programs down into certificates, so that you may want to come back and not do necessarily an MBA, but you may want a certificate in derivatives, futures, and options, or a certificate in mergers and acquisitions, so you can get a very focused kind of education and add, as a lifelong learner, add to your market skills. And eventually, maybe if you do a couple of certificates, you go, gee, now if I take a couple more courses, I'm going to be able to make it into an MBA. And so we have that as kind of a place to start. And we've also changed our curriculum so that for each student, we try to customize a curriculum for each MBA student based upon what you've done, what your career goals are and really building a bridge or a ladder between where you are and where you want to go. And so building that flexibility, and a lot of schools are doing that. And so I think it could be very advantageous.
Well, it's interesting because you find in the workforce things change. I mean, someone will spend 50 years or longer in the workforce, and skills change, technology changes, hot trends move around. So
absolutely, it's really about teaching students how to be learners more so than giving them knowledge that's going to be there for the rest of their lives. How do you learn?
So tell me about the Apple Store and what the students do with that.
So our Apple Store, we call it the IJ Store, and it's the only Apple Store in the world that's actually run by students. We run a business in the business school, and they take as a course running the business. They have to decide on inventory levels, marketing strategy, everything. Not just being employed in the store, but they run it. They're responsible as executives for the store. And the interesting thing about that in our portfolio practicum class is that the graduating seniors actually hire the juniors that will succeed them in those classes. So they get that human resources experience too of who do I hire and why. It's not always just your friend, it's whoever can really carry on the legacy of what you've done as a student as well.
Some really hands-on practical
Absolutely.
applications.
Absolutely.
So key. All right, thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you as well for joining us on today's Marketplace. Now, for more information on the Creighton University Heider College of Business, you can go to business.creighton.edu. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day.